congrats, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I loved it. It's like every like frame is like put it in the Louvre. Like every frame is like a piece of art. It's so great. I want to start by talking about the first one for a minute. I don't think anyone could have predicted it was going to be that good, that it was going to sort of take the world by storm the way it did when an Oscar was called one of the best Spider-Man movies, if not the best Spider-Man movie ever made. What were like your individual reactions to seeing it for the first time and then also seeing how everybody else reacted to it?
Honestly, I was really, I remember Jake, I saw it with Jake. Jake was like, dude, this is going to be really good for you. You're going to start doing your live action. Because I want to be in action movies and all these other types of films. So he was like, this is a great stepping stone for you. And I remember being like, this is a great animated film. How do I get there? How do I get to be the live action Miles Morales was my initial reaction. And as my nephew saw them and like people started, and I'm seeing the real impact of it. I'm like, oh, I started to digest what we just did. I didn't animate these things. I go in the booth and I follow directions and then I wait for this thing to come out. And honestly, that's how I felt. Honored by the end, lucky mostly, and just happy to be useful.
I think I just sort of like laughed to myself after I saw it for the first time because I was like, okay, I get it. It all makes sense. The process is so wild in that it takes place over a long period of time. We're both working on other projects and going back and forth, and sometimes months go by and in between our sessions. And so it's sort of, there's not a whole lot of continuity there. And so, and you're never given a script, in full. So it's hard to piece things together and create that consistency. Thank God for our incredible filmmakers that are there to help us do that. But seeing it for the first time, I imagine would have been like reading the script for the first time, understanding in its entirety what this film means, the impact it is about to have. I agree. I don't know that anybody could have predicted that. You can only hope, but it's. I would say too the family connections. When I've seen the little kids in my family react to it, I'm like, that is the greatest reward.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what happened there.
When did you guys see it? Did you guys see it pretty early on, and what were your reactions to it?
It's so funny because I put it off. I was just like, there's one, I love live action Spider-Man, and which is ironic given that I grew up reading the comics, but like there was just, those movies were so well done, and while I love the idea of Miles Morales, I was just a little concerned. I didn't know, and then people started saying it was the best thing ever, and I was like, y'all are hyping it, and so I didn't see it until probably like a year later, and then I was just like, why didn't I watch this sooner? I missed it. Like, everything was just so phenomenal, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
I had a similar reaction. I kind of felt like, why? They released it like in October, November, so I felt like, I was like, did they think it's bad? Like, I just didn't understand. Like, I was like, what's going on with it? And then people said it's really good, and I was like, all right, cool, let me watch it. And then I watched it, and my mind was blown. It was just like, it was. I mean, there's a lot of films nowadays that are good, but it was like one of my favorites. It didn't matter. Like, it was just, I loved it. Yeah. I just loved the film. Very few films makes me want to watch it again and again and again. I watch this every Christmas. The first one. So it's just one of those ones.
The only thing I was mad about was Sunflower. Got stuck in my head. Still, to this day.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
It's the only thing I'm mad about from that first movie. Like, finally made me give in to Post Malone. It still gets stuck in my... It's in my head right now.
Same.
It's like, it's begging to come out.
I attribute it to Sway Lee, but yes,
yeah,
you're
yes.
right.
Nobody knows the lyrics, actually.
Not at all.
Just the opening.
You just hum it, hum it. As long as you get the pitch right, you're all right.
Yeah.
I don't know what the lyrics are, and I love it. How would you say that this one, this story sort of ups the stakes? From how would you guys describe how it ups the stakes? Because every sequel has to, right? And this one kind of opens up the dimensions, right?
Well, the titles are pretty, accurate. Into the Spider-Verse is like introducing, the leap of faith and putting on the mask and getting comfortable believing in yourself and being Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse, it's bigger than Miles. It's I think the first movie we were introduced to Miles and we met Gwen and we knew Peter already and etc. But in this movie, it's about the spider people, you know, and I think that's where the stakes really, because everybody has a different path or mentality or a way to approach saving people or a universe or just how to be Spider-Man. And Miles is focused on his moral compass and doing and following his gut. So the stakes are definitely, you know, upped.
Yeah. And we get some good Gwen time.
We do.
How does she evolve in this one?
Quite a bit. And we sort of find her in the middle of a lot of conflict. She's at that point in her life where Shameik was saying if the first one was about taking that leap of faith and, you know, finding your purpose, this is about walking in your purpose and accepting it and living your life as who you are unapologetically. She has a very interesting dynamic with her dad this time around, where he, as a cop, is trying to track down her secret identity, and that's something she's struggling with. She's struggling with wanting to push Miles and encourage Miles to go and do what she knows he's more than capable of doing, but also wanting to keep him close and take on the world together. But she's grown a lot, and we do get a lot of her. We get to see and hear and learn a lot more about her origin story.
Issa, first pregnant superhero that you've played?
That I played, absolutely, yes. First,
maybe the first of all time.
I was thinking about Fargo, and she doesn't. She doesn't count as a superhero, but she was a crime fighter. Yes. And I remember just being deathly afraid that something was going to happen to her, and not having the same worry in this movie. No spoilers, but she's a superhero. She's a superhuman. So I felt less concerned for her well-being, but I also was just like, this is kind of crazy that she's just out here kicking ass while pregnant.
Daniel, is this the most punk rock character you've ever played?
Yes. This is the most lawless human. No, not the most lawless, but it is the most overtly. No, not the most overtly, but it is counterculture. Yeah, I was out there.
I love it. He's like an anarchist Spider-Man. He's like the anarchist Spider-Man we didn't know that we needed.
I love that. I love the comics. I think the comics are amazing. I just want to read all the comics, and I just love that his world and how oppressive his world is, and what he does to get out of that.
Did you switch up your accent a little bit for this one? It felt almost. I don't know if it's. I don't know the range of British accents. It almost felt a little Cockney or something. Was there a little bit?
There's Cockney elements to it. That's what it was. That kind of had like we wanted all the kind of like elements of London slang into it. So there was a bit of Cockneys, a bit of road, a bit of like obviously Caribbean kind of stuff, and it's just like amalgamation of everything. So then you'd say Scooby Doo, so like that means clue in Cockney rhyming slang, and then you'd say man like, and that's like from Jamaica. It was just an amalgamation of all these different. What London is, it's like kind of like New York. It's like a genuine melting pot, and the accent of my generation sounds like that, but just amplified it.
Because Shameik, at the top, you mentioned wanting to be live action Miles. Is that still like could you guys both see yourselves doing live action versions of these characters?
I mean, I could definitely see Shameik doing it 100%.
I could see her doing it. I mean, easily. So, absolutely, absolutely. I think it'll come down to what kind of film they want to make. Honestly, at the end of the day. I'm going to keep doing other movies and projects and just show my range and hope the Spidey fans speak up when
Start
it's time.
Start the petition.
When it's time, when they announce they're going for live action.
Yes.
It'll be time to speak up.
So. Anything's possible in the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Right.